Hey, coaches, welcome back. Football Talk with Coach Chip. Before we get started and I answer your questions about why in the world do we have Joe Namath on the intro, be sure to like, subscribe, and share. It's come to my attention that I've got a lot of people that are watching it that aren't subscribing. Come on, join in. And when you do, be sure you share it. Also, hit me up, siegel.chip@gmail.com. Listen here. I always respond. I'm available for consultation, and that's no joke. I've consulted with guys as far away as Michigan and Wisconsin and Seattle and just Florida, and of course y'all don't know I'm in West Central Georgia. You know, with the magic of the internet, we can do that kind of thing. You know, we ain't got to drive or fly all over the country to do it. Hey, I'm there. Also, coming up on spring football, hey, you got any questions? Give me a holler. I'll be glad to help you out. Send me an email. I'll put you on the email list. You won't get a bunch of spam stuff. I don't use MailChimp or any of those others. There's two or three others I'm aware of. It's an email service. I do it. Okay. And I think it's good stuff. It's not bad stuff. You may not think it's good, but it's not bad. And, hit me up on Twitter at Chip Siegel. Okay. And also on Facebook, Football Talk with Coach Chip. All right, let's talk about it. Boot, waggle, or naked? What is the truth behind these play action passes? And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to show you a little bit of video showing you a boot and also showing you a naked. Okay. And then I got some diagrams I'm going to show you of the differences as far as I'm concerned. And we can talk about it. Matter of fact, I want to know, I'm going to show you diagrams. I want you to tell me, what do you call that in your offense? Is that a boot? Is that a waggle? Is it a naked? Some people call it anything where you roll out away from the play action a boot. Okay, and that's fine. Just over the years, I've just noticed all these different kinds of roll out play action. And I remember about 20 years ago or so, I just said, okay, I'm gonna call it this, I'm gonna call it that. This one is this one is that. Let's get started. Let's look at some of these diagrams. Let me show you some video first. Okay, so I went back and I found this video because I had this memory. In my head, it was like 1972, but when I found it, it was 1974. And it's the first time I remember hearing the word. So it was the fall of 74. I'd have been 12 years old. And I liked football, when I was 12 years old, but I didn't know a ton of football. And I was watching a game with my daddy, and it was the first regular season game to end in sudden death overtime. It was the Giants and the Jets. And I was a big Joe Namath fan. My daddy was a big Alabama fan, and so am I. And I was a big Namath fan, and so we were watching the game. The game was played at the Yale Bowl in New Haven, Connecticut. And the Giants ran this play. It was Craig Morton. It was after he had been traded from the Cowboys, and Staubach had replaced him. And then he ended up, of course, going to the Broncos and leading them to the Super Bowl and got beat by the Cowboys. And they ran this play, and I remember asking my daddy, what was that play? And he said it was bootleg. Okay, then the Jets are going to come back and run it. So notice they pulled the front side guard. So to me, that's a bootleg. Okay, to me, that's a bootleg. I mean, y'all watch this one, and this is the zoom in, and then it's going to show you the sideline view in a moment. And they're down like on a 1 or 2 yard line, and the game is 20-13, and the Giants are winning. And gimped up, been in the league about 8 years, knee surgeries. Namath, of course, could hardly walk. If I showed the whole thing, you'd see the whole team mobbed him because it was a big. Watch this. Boop. And my daddy was a football fan, but he wasn't a football expert. Okay. I said, well, what was that play, Daddy? He goes, that was a bootleg too. And of course, years later, I'm a football coach, and I realize that what Namath scored on is not a bootleg, not what I would think is a bootleg now. It is a naked. Okay. Now, all you, my viewers that aren't from the deep South, understand there's two kinds of naked. There's naked, which means you're not wearing any clothes. And then there's nekid, Nekkid, which means you ain't wearing any clothes, but you're up to something. Okay. You're naked when you get out of the shower. Okay. And so that's the difference to me between a boot and a naked. Okay. And obviously, the play that Namath scores on is a naked, Nekkid, because he's up to something. You say, what's the difference? Nobody pulls. See, look, they're running the sweep. Backside guard pulls to lead on the sweep. And I don't know if it was called from the sideline or if Namath just told the running back. And I don't know if that was Emerson Boozer. I remember that name for some reason, or if Namath just decided to do it on his own. And he limps into the end zone. All right, let's look at some diagrams of different kinds of play action. All right, now this is not a debate. It dang sure ain't an argument because I won't argue football because there's more than one way to skin a cat. I've told y'all that before. Arguing football is like arguing cooking. Somebody may like one thing, somebody may like something else. Don't mean either one of them's wrong. Matter of fact, people don't like the things I like. That's good. It means more for me. So I won't argue with you, but I'm just saying this is what over 38 years of coaching, this is the way I look at play action pass. All right, you got the famous Waggle. Wing team made it famous. A lot of people that run other offenses run a version of the Waggle. Some people say the Waggle is when you got a man in the flat, you got a man on deep, and you got a post and a drag. That's Waggle. But I always just thought a Waggle, and we do. I use that generic term when you say, "Hey, it's just like a Waggle." Remember, I told y'all before, out of shotgun, my cruise play action pass is my version of Waggle. All right, but to me, Waggle's when you pull two guards. You pull the front and backside guard. The front side guard is logging, okay, and the backside guard is kicking. It's an inverted buck block. So the front side kicking and backside wrapping. You got front side logging, kind of wrapping, and the backside is kicking. And then you got the quarterback that's going to fake this way and going to roll this way and pick up the block. So if he gets a log here and a kick here, he'll set up right here. If he gets a log and a log or a log and a seal, keep rolling. A lot of wing T coaches will tell you Waggle's one of the first play action, one of the first RPOs because it was like a sweep. We used to run it with a real athletic quarterback years ago, and we would just give him a signal, and it was a keep. The receivers ran the routes, take the DBs with them. But it's always opposite the play action to me. Again, this is me. I'm not saying this is the way it is. This is the way it is to me. Waggle is opposite the play action. It is a version of the generic boot, if you will. It's not a naked because you've got guards coming with him. You got linemen coming with him. So remember, naked is something totally different. And that brings us to boot, what I call boot. Boot's when you pull one guard. Now, some guys pull the front side guard. You saw on the video the Jets, that was Weeb Eubanks. Weeb Eubanks was the coach of the Jets at the time. He was the coach of the Jets when they won that Super Bowl III over the Vikings, wasn't it? The Colts. The Colts. It was the Raiders the next year got the Vikings when they beat the Colts in that famous Super Bowl. And it was also Weeb Eubanks that was the coach of the Colts back in the late 50s in the first game decided in sudden death against the Giants. Okay. Now, to me, this is a boot. I call a boot anything where you pull a guard. I don't pull the front side guard on a boot. I don't think I ever have. It's always been the backside guard. But I have seen guys. I think Rick Stewart on his version of Waggle, out of his pistol wing tee, he pulls what becomes the front side guard because the play is actually going, the front side is the side the quarterback rolls to after he fakes. So they use the front side guard. And a lot of teams do that. I've never done that. And again, I like cooking, when it comes to salt and and spices, season to taste, dude. But this to me is a boot where it goes away from the play action, opposite the play action, just like Waggle. And notice everything's the same, except you don't have but one guard pulling. We went to this a few years ago, and it was just because pulling two guards is just so many moving parts. And when you're talking about limited practice time, and that's why we went to the one guard pull, and not that two guard pull's not good. And a lot of folks still do it, but I have noticed even the wing T guys, less and less of them are running the Waggle the way the Delaware people drew it up. and the way it's in the book. Yeah, I just went and looked it up this morning. I got my book out, just look at some of the old Delaware stuff. It's about the Blue Book, The Order of Football by Tubby Raymond and Ted Kemsky. And I was looking at it, and they pulled two guards, but they did have some tags where they pulled one. I noticed that. Okay, let's look at another. Now, again, this one goes opposite. This is the one you just saw Joe Namath do. They did it under center. And I think the naked works better under center. We have done it at a pistol. Uh, 2 seasons ago, we ran the crap out of it. And notice this is the naked. Now, on this naked, we're doing the elephant's own parade. Everybody just hauls butt opposite. Don't let anything cross your face, block it, make it look like you're running wide zone or sweep or whatever. Boom. Now you saw in the video where they pulled their guard. That was a true naked. And I've done things like that before, especially back in the day when we were an I formation team. It's just like, and I guess it's the Namath effect on me when I was a little boy seeing that play. And when I was a young coach and we were running I would call naked like that. Just give the quarterback a signal. And I tell him, don't tell anybody. So they'll just go ahead and block the play, block lead, block power. But I did say, tell the running back. Tell him he's not going to get it, but carry out his fake. And we'd already worked on it. The running back knew, don't do like that running back did in the video after the fake. Just stop and turn over there and look at Joe. Go ahead and go up in there. If I had a guy that was brave enough to do it, I'd tell him, go dive in there, Go over the top with it, pretend you got it. You'll suck everybody to you. And we did that one time, I know, on a keep off of power. Ran it to the front side. It was like fourth and short, and it was nut cutting time. I remember this is like 30 years ago. I still remember it because it was a big play. And we had a quarterback that was almost slow as Joe, but he didn't have bad knees and wasn't an old man. He was young, he just slow. And we'd run power, 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 power. And that was like fourth and really short. And I ran, and everybody on the sideline thought I'd called power again, but they didn't see me give the signal to the quarterback. And the only two people on the field that knew the quarterback was going to keep the football were the quarterback and the running back. And had a brave running back, and he dove over the top, and the quarterback went around the corner, and it was like fourth and real short, and he got about 25, 30 yards before they caught up with his slow butt. But that's the naked, okay? Now, that was the three that go away from the play action, and those are boot, waggle, and naked in my terminology, the way I say it, the nomenclature that I use. That's no one of the big words you get when you go to Troy State University, the Harvard of the Wiregrass. All right, now these are just straight play action pass. You can pull a guard. I'll tag the video. I'll link the video below, one of the previous videos I did on how we block play action pass by pulling a guard. And also you can do full slide, and I'll show you that too. But this is where the quarterback fakes it and sets up inside the box. You see this a lot in college and NFL ball. And you see it in high school ball too, but you really see it a lot on Saturdays and on Sundays. They make a fake and the quarterback sets up in the box, in between the tackles. Okay, not rolling him out. And on this one is the one like I showed on the video, how we block play action pass, where he pulls and he kicks and then high walls and runs the guy up the field. And everybody's got a gap. It is a gap protection. And I love this, especially if you've got the guys that can do it. And that's just, to me, in my terminology, that's play action. Now, our waggle, naked, and boot play action? Yes. Yes, they are. Technically they are. But to me, when I just say, hey, it's a play action pass, I'm talking about a fake inside the box. Okay? Oh, it just dawned on me that on the Joe Namath video, he didn't throw a pass. And that was just a naked keep, but you can throw a naked pass. And I recommend when you do that, you have somebody in the flat. Because if that outside linebacker or safety stays home and comes running up, you got to have something to dish it off to if he stays home. And by the way, when do you run naked? When that end is squeezing like a mug, just hauling butt, chasing down the play. All right, now this is same thing, play action pass, but with no guards. This is using slide protection. And again, the quarterback sets up inside the box, in between the tackles. That's just straight play action. Now, this is the easiest to teach. This protection on play action. This is just slide protection with your back making a fake and then going up in here. I do not think it is deceptive as it is when you pull a guard. Your running back is definitely responsible for a block. When you pull a guard, he's responsible for filling for the guard. He may or may not block. On this, he's got to be able to block, and it's got to be a running back that can block a DN. Okay? And you can do other things. You can let the tackle do it and let him fit up in here for a linebacker. But that's slide protection, straight play action. And most of the faking, all the faking really is going on in the backfield. You don't get any deception up front like you would on when you pull the guard. Now, this is one that people use when they run weak lead, like the belly, or they can do it off power. I drew it up under center. You can do it from gun. Um, Off the belly, it's really good under center. Out of gun, you can do it. Put the running back behind the quarterback or offset him. And what you're doing, you're faking power or you're faking the lead. You can do it off strong lead too, but I've always done it off either weak lead, belly, or off the power. Where you stick it in there and you ride that joker, then you pull it out and you drop back and you throw it. Okay. Years and years and years ago, when we were in Bone, we had a play like this. We called it drop pass because the guy would fake it and then drop back 3 steps and throw it. And then when I got a little older, I realized that's a negative term because you call it drop pass. You're putting drop the pass in the brain of the kids. And so I quit doing that crap. We started calling it go pass, even though nobody was running a go route. But this is keep pass, where you stick it in there and you ride it, stick it in the belly, ride that joker, and then we teach default, de facto, 3 step drop after the fake. And it's notice it's inside the box, but it's kind of behind the B gap to the play side. And notice on keep pass, it's to the side the play action is going to. So if you're play actioning left, he sets up in the left B, behind the left B. Okay. And like I said, it's normally used off weak lead or off power. A lot of old I formation teams used to run it. They'd have that fullback go to kick the D in and miss him and then hit the flats. And they'd have a guard and then like X block and let the guard get him, or he would fall for the fake when he stuck it in the tailback's belly. That was the old power keep pass or power roll pass people used. I got one more. All right, now this is just like the keep pass, and some people call this keep pass. They just have a default on their keep pass, it's a rollout. Okay? And you pull the guard, and you do this against teams that really read hats, and he's going to squeeze when he gets that down block, and then boom, you log him with your play side guard, kind of like you saw the Giants on their boot pass at the video at the beginning, the video clip at the beginning of this video. But again, it's normally used off a weak lead or a power, and you're trying to put that D in conflict. Is he going to run up the field or stay wide? And this is like you've already established your power, you've already established your weak lead, and you're blocking that D in, you're blocking that D in, you're blocking that D in, and he's really playing it hard in here. And then you come back and you run this, and you get it because he squeezes, you get your log right here. Now you got your quarterback out here in space. And so all he's doing then is a rollout pass then, almost like a sprint out. He's going to read the flat defender. The flat defender stays back. He'll keep it and run it. Flat defender comes up. He can dump it. Always look deep. So as you get your head around, look deep and see if that deep route's there. I've always said that backside post is something that you get called from the box, and you from the sideline, you know it's going to be there. But the quarterback, just like on the keep pass, it's going to the same side as the play action. So all of these are play actions. Okay. All right, let's close this thing out. Okay. Is it boot? Is it waggle? Is it naked? Is it play action? What's the truth behind them? This is my truth. You don't have to agree with it. Let's have a discussion. I don't want to debate. I don't want to argue. But let's discuss. I want to know, what do you call it? Comment down below or send me an email at siegel.chip@gmail.com. You know, it's really fun to talk about this kind of stuff and kind of see where you arrived at that. And what happened is just over the years, and we started running wing T like 20 years ago. And I said, oh, that's a bootleg. They said, no, it's waggle. Okay. And so In my head, I said, okay, what makes it waggle must be there's two guards pulling because I'd always have pulled just the one. And so, boom, instantly in my head, waggle became a two guard pull. Boot was a one guard pull. Naked is when everybody blocks the run or blocks to the right and the quarterback rolls left. And it may be a sure enough pass, and the guy's got to stay on the line of scrimmage. If it's definitely a keep, and that's one thing that's cool about the naked, you can say, like, hey, they're really jumping the run, and you're down there in the red zone. I mean, in the tight red zone, the low red zone, you're inside the five, like the Jets were in the video clip at the beginning, and you run this thing, and everybody goes for it. But you need to make sure if you're going to give that signal and not, let's say you're going to block Buck, okay? You got to make sure that your backside tackle's not gap flipping, or he may high wall that joker right into your quarterback. You got to have him go through that B gap and climb the backer if you're going to do it on a run. And you got to make sure your running back knows. And here's the reason why. You want him to carry out the fake. You don't want him to stop, turn around, and go, look, where's the football? Because in his mind, it may be, oh crap, he missed it. The ball's on the ground. So that if you're a gap hinge team on the backside, your backside tackle needs to know. Of course, the quarterback needs to know, and your running back needs to know, and that's it. If you're doing it just as a run, okay, and you can get that quarterback out there, and there's nobody there because they're just jumping all over it. Okay, all right. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share the channel. Be sure to hit me up at siegel.chip@gmail.com. I love talking football, and let's keep the conversation going. And hey, until next time, come on, everybody. You know, be elite.